Good morning. It's your girl, Becky D. We live every single morning, 7 days a week, just in case for those who don't know. This could be your first episode. And if it is, I would like to personally and truly thank you and welcome you to the Becky D world, where everything in my head is crazy and I'm just getting it out for other people to hear. So far this week, it's February, Love Month. This week we've been really focused on love as well as relationships, and I want to continue with that trend today. I really do want to continue with that trend today, and I want to talk about talking. That big C word, which is communication. It is a big word. It's more than 4 letters. That's a big word to me. Okay. Communication. So let's go ahead and just think about that right now. Even when you're listening to podcasts, music, other people talk, TV shows, radio shows, there's a form of communication. There's some words being said which allows for some miscommunication. Okay? Every day, every second, there is someone miscommunicating the communication that was given to them. Now, 9 times out of 10, we live now in a social media world as well as a texting age where everything is mostly typed out. Okay, I call it hiding behind keys. Okay, less things are taken out of context when you're able to have a sit down one-on-one with somebody than when I'ma just let my fingers do the talking. Okay? Because there's room for clarification. Now, that's not saying that in the present there isn't some miscommunication going on. Because there is. There truly is. If you take any of your past relationships or even look at your current relationship, this could be your first relationship. Congratulations. I hope it's successful for you. I'm only praying and wishing for success on everybody this year. If you are talking to your significant other and there's some things lost in the translation from your brain to their brain. People think it's a language barrier, a cultural barrier, or it's I can't remember the other one, but our educational barrier. It's not. We make these things so that one, we can belittle one side and glorify us, and two, so we can have an excuse. But simply, all it is just that we don't know how to properly communicate. We don't want to know how to properly communicate. We're not looking for a way to properly communicate. Okay? If I was to say that my world is upside down. Now, to a little kid, they may be like, well, Ms. Davis, that's impossible. But we're not upside down. If it's to an adult, they'll be like, oh, you're being dramatic. If it's to someone who thinks like me, and in my head, because I might be dizzy at the moment, my world may legit be upside down. So there's so many different translations. And we're all speaking English, okay? When you convert a language from another language, there is room for error because our words do not match up exactly. That can still be communicated better than English to English. In your relationships, if whatever your dynamic is in the relationship, there is one person and another person, and you two will not be on the same wavelength all the time. You can have the same things you like. You can like the same flavor ice cream, and you can do things the same way. You can walk the same way. You can style your hair the same way, but you will never be truly on the same wavelength. So communication, sometimes over-explaining or saying, could you repeat it back to me, what I said, or how do you feel about it, okay? A person is never truly inside of your head. Only you are. Only you know what you need. And I have to ask people, even when I do this, I make sure that people I trust are listening to it, because in my head, I know personally, I am saying things that never truly come out of my mouth. So I speak in a broken language sometimes. My thoughts come to me so fast that I think I've said everything, but reality is I haven't. Now, when I used to stutter, did I used to say everything? More than likely. But I know that I don't communicate everything that's inside of me. In relationships, we have to understand that we don't communicate everything that's inside of us. And sometimes we're just afraid. We don't know how that other person's going to take it. What are you afraid of? They're human just like you. Okay? Now, if you start off with, because somebody said this, and we just had to laugh because we said, usually when you start with a phrase like that, it's going to be disrespectful. Kid walks up to me. He's like, hey, I want to tell you something, but I don't mean to be disrespectful. I was like, okay, be disrespectful, because that's exactly what you're about to be. And of course, the comment afterward was. But I appreciate that he thought in his head it may not be disrespectful in his family, in his home culture, but in reality, in the present world, it may be extremely disrespectful. And it was. But I valued enough the fact that he said, I don't mean to be disrespectful. Okay? It's small phrases like that if you're afraid of something, you can just premedicate them with, okay? That's like before you go into surgery, you hope they give you pre-surgery stuff before they just throw you right on the table, because if not, then you might have some problems occurring, and we ain't gonna talk about that. That's all I'm gonna say. So you gotta, understand that communication, even in English, is not necessarily the same. Okay. When you are in a business or a place of work, employment, whatever you want to call it, communication there is all over the place. It's funky. I have never seen a communication style like this at all, okay? Because back there at work, we do a lot of talking behind keys and a lot of talking behind backs. I tell people, the same way I'm in front of you, the same way I am behind you. Why will I want to go to another coworker and just talk bad about you and then not be able to tell you about it? I'm like, man, we was dogging you out. I was talking all kinds of stuff, okay? And honestly, I love it when an employer asks me, so what do you want from us? And I tell them, communication, okay? I have not been to an employer yet that's successfully given me just what I asked. I will be there every day. I will be there as long as I'm not contagious, through every sickness, through everything I need to do. I am a workaholic. I love to work. But give me communication. Okay? Sometimes assuming that someone knows something, or assuming that someone is just willing to do something, is 9 times out of 10 gonna come and smack you in the butt later. And simply because that's not true, okay? People, especially in the workplace, are 9 times out of 10 more reserved. Unfortunately, I am not one of those people. So I do from time to time like to speak my mind. So I have to watch my communication, because one, not everybody has the same level of hardness that I do, okay? I can take things a little bit better than other people can. If you needed to come up to me and say, hey, I just been meaning to tell you, you not doing anything and I wish you would just leave, then I could probably take that a little bit better than any run-of-the-mill person, okay? I'm like, oh, true. Because I've been thinking about leaving for a minute, but the thing is, I don't like to, get out of a contract. I like to live my contract through. But since you said it, I'm going to do it. True story, by the way, y'all. But there's a form of communication that has to happen. Now, would I like them to come up to me as that student did and say, I don't mean no disrespect? Yeah. I mean, anybody would like that. That makes the blow a little softer, okay? That's like getting into the boxing ring and you know you about to lose and looking at the other boxer like, could you wink at me before you hit me so I could just fall? I mean, I would appreciate it. Y'all, I don't know how to box. I don't. I took up a few years of karate, but that was about it. So, I mean, workplace. Because then you have what we got back in high school. You have your different cliques going on, okay? You got your I'm high and mighty and y'all all undereducated. And then you got the other ones over here who just don't want to be here, but they're here. And then you got, it starts to form these groups that are unnecessary. We're all here to do one job. We're all here to get the job done. Why do we need different groups within one workplace unless they are assigned on purpose, okay? Working in a school, you have to understand there's different grade levels. I get that. So there's grade level meetings. I don't need to be a part of 1st and 3rd grade if I'm not in 1st and 3rd grade. So why should we have groups outside of that? Oh, maybe there's a behavior group. I love it. But personality groups, we don't need that. All day, all year, if you have kids, you're teaching them to get along with everybody. Why can't we still do that? Why can't we live it? Why can't we show them? A lot of times, okay, growing up, I was told, I can show you better than I can tell you. And that was usually talking about discipline because so that meant that we was gonna have a talk later and it was gonna involve a belt, and I knew that I had done messed up then. But now, and we use that sometimes in our love language, we ain't getting into that, but when you say I can show you better than I can tell you, you need to do it. Show me. As a kid, I would love for some of these adults that I call myself conversing with now, that they would have shown me better than they can tell me while I was growing up. You could show me what going into a workplace and getting along with coworkers look like. You could have shown me what going out and doing my taxes look like. You could have shown me all these different things as being an adult, but you were too busy showing me how a child looked. Remember, I said adults and not my parents, okay? I had some amazing parents. So don't be out there thinking that I was raised by wolves or something. I wasn't. My parents were pretty amazing, okay? Now, as a kid, did we see eye to eye? No, because what kid wants to be told what they can and cannot do? In our head, we can do it all. Reality is, we can't. So, I want you to go with that attitude, especially over these next few days. Even in your relationships, I can show you love better than I can tell you. And do it. Y'all, it's Valentine's Day. What are we waiting on? For Valentine's Day, I am going to go a little bit over today because I want to express love. I want to show you love, okay? I gave everybody a task that listened to the podcast. If I'm not mistaken, it was on Wednesday. And y'all, I think y'all calling my bluff. I really do, okay? I haven't been sent anything, okay? So, and I made sure that I activated my messages so I can get messages from anybody. But if you want to block your blessing, that is more than okay. Okay? So go around with the I can show you better than I can tell you attitude. And that's exactly what I plan on doing. I'm going to show you all better than I can tell you all. I am going to make sure that I'm living my words true and holding them to value. I am tired of living in a society that in the textbooks, I am prepared to go out and conquer, but in reality constantly sets me up for failure. Because our communication levels are so low and they're so dense and nobody wants to work on them, that I feel like we're doomed from the beginning. So go talk to someone. Make sure they understand you clearly. Make sure that you are understood and they are understood. Even when you're talking to a kid today, make sure they understand where you are coming from. So big, especially on a day like Valentine's Day, okay? So big. Because this is a day dedicated to you showing love. This is a day where communication has to be relayed in all ways, okay? This is a day where you're going on dates, you're spoiling your significant other, you're making them feel valued, and you're making them feel worthy. But are you being heard clearly? And not just like muffled sound coming through ears, but words that are coming out of your mouth. Is it making sense to them? Don't try to speak above their head, okay? I hate when people do that. I tell them, I was like, look, I'm off of you learning big words, but what you're not going to do is come home every day and cuss me out. And I say it like that because I don't want to discourage learning. But I just know that you don't need to use big words to sound smart. You don't. If I would have known that I needed to show my educational level every place I went, I would have made sure that I've done so and made sure that I only use the $15 million words that I have learned over my years of studies. But not everybody understands that. Not everybody we're trying to reach in life is going to understand that. Even your significant other. Okay? Be human. Be real. Be common. It's okay. The world will be a lot better. Okay? Blowing your horn. It accidentally happened one day. But that's a form of communication. I was really hoping that the person in front of me didn't think that was towards them. I was trying to wipe something off my steering wheel, and I pressed too hard on my horn, and the horn blew. I was scared for me because some people, like, if they're like me, I get a little riled up by a horn, okay? I hate horn blowing. I had an ambulance the other day blow his horn at me because I stopped at a yellow light so I wouldn't be in the median, blocking the intersection pretty much, because the light was turning red and traffic was still backed up. So I was just hoping, because he didn't have any sirens on to begin with, I was just hoping it was an accident. Maybe he was grabbing his coffee and accidentally hit it. But if it wasn't, I thought that was really rude and disrespectful. Because if I would have left you sitting out there in the intersection and you needed to get through, well, we've blocked the intersection. Just saying. So on Valentine's Day, of course I want you to show love. I want you to love on your spouse, love on your significant other, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever the case may be. Love on your kids. Love on everybody, okay? But especially make sure that you're communicating clearly in all channels, in all fields, in all connections. My name is Becky D in the morning. I love you all dearly. I hope you all be safe on this Valentine's Day, okay? Definitely make sure you communicate well, because if they bring out your steak medium well and you ask for well, you have to specify, I want it dead, y'all, okay? I want it burnt and a little crispy on the edge. But definitely make sure that you're communicating and you're communicating well. Find your communication style. There's a plenty of stuff online, tests, and all that stuff you can take, and find your communication style. Maybe you communicate well through different areas in different various forms, okay? But do something today. Make somebody feel love. Send somebody a Cash App request. I don't know, whatever the case may be. I'm not request, send them money. Send somebody a card that you haven't talked to in a while, or just say, hey, I love you. But do something to show love and spread love on this earth today, okay? Because honestly, we don't have to be here, but we're grateful enough to be here. Okay? So, that's what your task is. I hope you're able to do the assignment. Because to me, I think it's pretty easy. Easier than any paper you could have ever wrote in high school, college, wherever the case may be. I love you all. My name is Becky D in the morning, and I'll see you all on Saturday morning, the day after Valentine's. Lord help us. We got a lot to talk about then, too. Talk with you later.